Welcome back to She Speaks Softly, a space for anyone who has ever felt like they don't quite fit in, like they're invisible in certain rooms, or like who they are at the core isn't fully seen or understood. If you've struggled with self doubt, low self worth, fear of speaking up, or questioning whether your voice even matters, this episode is for you. My name is Kizzy, and today I'm sharing more of my story, how I slowly began to come out of my shell. And as you listen, I want you to think about your own passions, your interests, the forms of self expression that feel most natural to you, and the things that make you unique, the things that feel like a core part of who you are and who you are becoming. In the last episode, I shared what it felt like to grow up as the quiet girl, the shy girl, the girl who rarely spoke. Today, I want to share how I slowly began to come out of my shell. Not overnight, not instantly, but through something unexpected, through music, through writing, through art. I truly believe music is therapeutic. Music has a way of reaching parts of us that words alone sometimes can't. It regulates our emotions, it gives language to feelings we struggle to explain sometimes, and it allows us to release tension, process pain, and feel understood even when no one else is speaking directly to us, right? When you sing, you are breathing deeply. When you play an instrument, you're focused and present. And when you listen to music that resonates, you feel seen. There's something healing about harmonizing your voice with others, about becoming part of a sound that's bigger than just you. And for me, that's where it started. From fifth grade all the way through junior high, high school, and even college, I sang in choir and played in band. And I was still incredibly soft spoken, still quiet, still not talking much, but choir and band made me feel involved. They made me feel included. And they made me feel like I was a part of something bigger than myself. It was my passion. It was expression. It was where I didn't have to fight to be loud in conversation. My voice had a place already. And even though I wasn't outspoken socially, I had somewhere to pour myself, somewhere safe, and that mattered more than I realized at the time. I also believe that writing is therapeutic. Writing allows you to process thoughts that feel tangled in your mind. It gives shape to emotions. It slows down racing thoughts. It helps us understand ourselves. And sometimes it helps other people feel understood too. From a young age, I loved writing. I had a big imagination and I was observant. I was a thinker. My mind ran a mile a minute. So writing became my outlet. In elementary school, I wrote stories, and in middle school, I started writing song lyrics and poetry. Then, in either my sophomore or junior year of high school, I placed as a finalist in a poetry contest. I attended an event where the finalists came together, and before the event, we had a rehearsal. And at that rehearsal, everything changed for me. That was the day I was introduced to spoken word poetry. There was a poet who went by the name Apollo Poetry, and he performed a few pieces, and I instantly fell in love with spoken word. It wasn't just poetry, it was passion, it was conviction, it was storytelling with power. And something in me said, this right here, this is it. So from that day on, I began writing more poetry and performing spoken word. Then, my junior year of high school, I surprised myself. I signed up for the school talent show. Me, the quiet girl, right? I performed a spoken word poem that I had memorized, and that day, I'm telling you, that day was monumental for me. The first few moments, I was nervous, of course, but once I started, the nerves faded. My focus shifted to the words, to the message, to what I wanted the people to feel. I felt like I was in my element, and guess what? I placed. I think it was second or third, but honestly, the placement didn't even matter. Standing on that stage, that's what mattered because the fear of public speaking began to fade, and the stage, the place I once would have avoided, literally became my comfort zone. Through my early to mid 20s, I continued writing and performing. I performed at church, at open mics, at conferences, community events, and every time I stepped on stage, something inside of me shifted. I've always said spoken word gave me the courage to say everything I wouldn't have said aloud otherwise. It gave me confidence to express my views, my experiences, my pain, my questions, my faith. Music and poetry were where I began to find my voice and really get comfortable using it. Performing helped me, it helped me shift how I saw myself. Being quiet didn't mean that I was incapable. Being soft spoken didn't mean I had nothing to say. Being shy didn't mean I was small. If I wanted to sing, I could sing. If I wanted to write, I could write. And if I wanted to speak, I could speak. I just needed to project my voice a little louder so people could hear me. And I'm telling you, that realization right there was powerful. For so long, I didn't like that I was shy. I didn't like that I didn't talk much. And there were lonely days, few friends, and I blamed myself. I thought something was wrong with me, but something wasn't wrong with me. Over the years, what God has helped me understand is this: He was intentional. Scripture says in Jeremiah 1 and 5, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. And in Psalms 139 and 14, it says that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. See, God thought of me and He thought of you. He knew you. He understood you before you were even conceived. None of us are perfect, but God was intentional in how He created us. He knew music would be a part of my healing, and He knew that writing would be a part of my journey to self love. He knew spoken word would be how I found my voice. He knew that the shy girl would one day have a passion to help other women find theirs. He even knew that loneliness, the comparison, the imposter syndrome, the feeling invisible would one day give me empathy. And that journey, without my journey, I don't think I would feel this deep desire to help other women find their voice, build their confidence, and strengthen their mental wellness. The pain faded over time, and the self loathing faded as well. And in its place, I began to see value. This was how I began to come out of my shell. And it didn't happen in a week, it didn't happen in a year, it happened over time. But for me, this was the beginning. In episode 3, I'm going to share the exact steps I took, the practical, game changing things that shifted my confidence, literally, and strengthened my self worth and helped me to begin walking in what I believe is my God given purpose. So if you have ever felt like you don't fit in or like just being yourself isn't enough, You don't want to miss this next episode because your voice matters. Your voice matters, okay? And sometimes the softest voices carry the deepest strength.